Hey there. I want to talk about choosing no regrets, which in essence can be really, really difficult. And I'll be the first to admit I've made a shit ton of mistakes um, and bad decisions, probably early on. Running away from foster care for 3 weeks, skipping school for over 100 days, drinking myself into oblivion. There's so many bad decisions I can think about that I've done uh, that I could beat myself up for. And it's taken me a while to get here to where I don't regret any of those decisions. No, at 13, running away, not the right idea. At 13, though, my brain didn't really know that. Um, but as I got older, there were some other decisions I've made that I could regret. But I'm choosing not to do that. Because I believe when we regret those decisions, we don't really learn anything. And we don't really learn anything. So I'm choosing to looking at them. What did I learn out of that decision? What did I learn out of that experience? What did I gain from that? Not looking at what did it cost me or what did I lose. Because I actually gained things in the process. And that can be really, really hard when you're thinking about some of the really tough stuff, maybe. Example, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I have a back when I was 20 something, 23-ish, early 2000s, DUI accident and bad decision. Right. I mean, clearly. And yes, there's regret there, I may have mentioned it because there was shame that I've dealt with about that. But I've gained way more out of that situation than I lost. I gained insight about me, a little bit more of what makes me tick, a little bit more understanding of how I work from an emotional perspective, but also from the way I think and what I need to keep in mind. And I truly believe that each decision we make is the best decision we make in that particular moment, because you can't make a decision better if you don't know. Because you have to know things to make better decision. And I also think, if aside from the DUI, I think if your intentions about other decisions, whether it be relationship, breaking up with somebody or seeing somebody, not breaking, if your intention was in the right place, know that, and then you don't have to regret that. Not everything is always gonna work out. So I'm choosing to live with no regret. I've been married. My intention, my love at that time, it was real. It was real as I could know it was real. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Do I regret marrying? No, not in the least. But what did and then I gained some through this experience. Again, I learned more about me, about the kind of person I am, and what helps me in a partner. It goes to looking at the lessons again, and I've talked about this before in another video. It's looking at the lessons, and again, looking at what you're gaining from a decision instead of what if. I think that is so terrible. Well, what if I done this? Well, don't know. So worrying about it and wondering about it isn't really productive. It's not really helpful in your current situation, right? So instead of what ifing yourself, know that whatever circumstance, you've made the best decision you could at that moment with the knowledge and wisdom that you had. That's it. So don't regret those decisions. But if you're finding yourself in a place where you're not okay or you're not okay with how things are going, figure it out. What do you want? And if that's too hard to answer, what do you don't want? Like, go to the other side. What don't you want? Make a list of that. And then flip that around to find what it is you do want. Because I know when you ask people, what do you want out of life? They're dumbfounded. They don't really know the answer to that. They know what they don't want, clearly. So start with that. Write it down so that when you want to figure out what it is you do want, so that you can leave all the what ifing behind and actually have a life with no regret, you can figure that out. I don't want to be broke. All right, so you want to make money. Phew. Right? I don't want to feel frustrated. Okay. What does that look like? What does that feel like? Get into that. Write about it. I don't want to live in an apartment. All right, what does that look like? Do you want to live in a house? Do you want to live in an RV? What do you want? Like, start with the things you don't want in your life to figure out the things you do want in your life, because your what ifs and your bad decisions from the past don't matter. They're back there. They're gone, done, over, poof. And stressing about them and worrying about them isn't really going to change the situation. What is going to change the situation for you is to decide that, yes, I'm going to look at the lessons that I've learned from all these different experiences I've had. Then I'm going to look at, what did I gain? What did I gain out of that? What did I gain out of a DUI? I gained more awareness that alcohol isn't really good for me, right? Like, not good in quantum amounts good for me. I also learned I'm not a bad person because of the one particular incident, and that can be really hard sometimes. I learned a little bit more responsibility. And probably the biggest thing I learned is that I was clearly heading down a path of self-destruction. And had I not sort of acknowledged that, I wouldn't have made the changes that I've made to be here today. So there's so much to gain and learn from all of that. So take an ownership of your situation. Own the parts that you're responsible for. Let go of the regrets. Stop wondering about what if I done that. Doesn't matter, because you didn't, and you did make the best decision you could make at that particular time with the knowledge that you had. I can't say that enough. You can't know more. So just kind of start being okay with that. And if you still feel like, oh, that's some shit you're talking about, write about it. Just write about it. Journaling. Huge fan. And if your life is not where you want it to be, and if it doesn't feel the way you want to feel, start writing about that. What do you want? And if you can't answer that, start writing about the things you don't want so you can figure out what it is you do want. I hope you have a great week.